Is this the first podcast you film in here?
I think I never did a podcast.
No way.
No, I'm not a podcast addict, but I'm glad to discover it with you.
I'm so honored to discover it with me. It's such an honor. I mean, the first time I came here was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And I've been a big fan of your work for a long time.
Thank you.
And a big fan of your content on social
Yeah,
media.
we're also fan of your work.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. And seeing this in real life, I was just so shocked, especially because nothing I'd seen on your account was still here because you change everything in your home and studio so often.
We always change like the atmosphere of the house. We like to make exhibitions that are actually changing our life. So this exhibition is what I call an exhibition, but it's actually we transform the house into a recording studio.
Amazing.
So now we have every day people coming out and in, like recording songs, and we are becoming slowly but surely a music label.
Wow.
So this is a exhibition can change our life. So, we did just before we did an exhibition on tables. So the idea was to showcase some tables of my father from the 50s to the 90s. And now we are in the process of working on the project of a restaurant.
Yeah.
So exhibition becoming something in real life after. Yeah, it's not just an exhibition. It's like...
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And today it's music.
Today it's music.
I love it. It's really, really cool.
Around the World with your host, the Gstaad Guy. We welcome you back to the Gstaad Guy podcast, sharing stories of excellence with those in the know for those who just know.
Well, Benjamin, it's such a great pleasure to have you here.
Merci.
On the Gstaad Guy podcast. Welcome. Benjamin Paulin, the son of Pierre Paulin.
Yep.
An iconic furniture designer and artist. And you are extending and sharing the legacy through Paulin, which echoes through time and space.
Yeah, actually, Paulin is really the echo of Pierre Paulin. When I started, journalist was coming to me and asking me, can we do like a tribute or a homage to Pierre Paulin? And I was always sad that we are putting lights on a dead man instead of a living oeuvre. So the idea of Paulin was to talk about living experience, echo to his work, but not about like someone who's not there anymore. Because this is the way I think he would have been interested of talking about him and his work.
Yeah, I love that. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I came here, I noticed your kids were a part of the art.
No, for sure.
Because you live in...
It's a permanent crash test. So we have like a lot of people are asking me, I want to buy this sofa, but isn't it too wide for the kids? Like, trust me.
Yeah.
We are testing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was that the same thing for you growing up with your father's work around?
Exactly. And I'm super glad that they have this experience. Like my daughters, like my 3 daughters, they can have this experience of, amazing hors format design pieces that you can experience and enjoy, because this is really the way I grew up with like the prototypes of my father, meaning the pieces that nobody never really saw except me, my family, friends of my father's. But this was like the impossible pieces for the industrial development. So the pieces we are now producing were the pieces that were at some point rejected in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. And so we are giving life to the dream that never came true.
Yeah, I love that. How did your father start his passion for furniture design and art?
So my father initially wanted to be a sculptor. Okay. Did I told you my father was half Swiss German?
No.
So his mother was from Lucerne.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and funny fact, but my father, I think, only went to Switzerland when he was as a kid, like maybe once or twice. Okay. But he built his character thinking he was Swiss. Like he always in his mind was like a Swiss German, and it helped him to build his aesthetic, his way of working, and everything. Like it was a very important thing for him
in terms of his values.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And after he passed, before he passed, he asked me, like, when I passed, I want you to take my ashes to the Montrigny in Switzerland. So I went to the Montrigny after he passed to do it. So it was like Switzerland was an image and something that made him very strong.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Can you describe some of those values that you observed in your father?
He was a very hard worker, and he was always like very chevaleresque, in the sense that it was all about dignity, all about. He was not a lazy man interested by money or interested by fame, or it was like he wanted to be useful, to be useful for the society. It's a very old school way of seeing the world, but I think when you live a complicated moment like Second World War as a teenager, as it was, it changed your appreciation. And France, like for example, was like a very dark country after the World War II. So everything needed to be rebuilt, needed to. So it was like a mission for this generation to make a better world. Like it was real. It was like really what was happening.
Wow. I love that you talk about useful, because art by its very nature is often useless and meant to bring beauty to things without necessary use. But your father's chosen art form is incredibly useful.
Mm-hmm.
And actually you bring use out of every corner of every room that I've noticed, like the room we're sitting in now, Dune. You could probably fit 50 people in here, and any other furniture design would allow maybe 10. So there's so much use in this.
I like the Dune model is like a sort of a jailbreaker for the sitting position, because you can sit like many ways. Like you don't have like a regular chair or sofa. Like you have only like one or two way to sit, and that's all. Here you can do whatever you want. This is what I like with this piece and some others. But so functionality, as you said, like it was very something important for my father. So I think he wanted to be a sculptor initially, but he had a bad accident, so his hand was half paralyzed. Okay. So he had to quit the ambition of being a sculptor. And then he was influenced by two of his uncles. So one was the sculptor, the Swiss-German uncle, like Freddy Stoll. And the other uncle was a car designer, an autodidact car designer. He designed some of the beautifulest models for Rolls-Royce or Bentley, like some model who won the People Beach in the 30s, 40s. He designed it. He invented the opening roof for the Peugeot Darlmat at the time. And so Georges Paulin. And so I think my father was influenced by both of them, one for the sculptural shape and the other one for the technical and points. And so he kind of assembled those two visions and became a designer with this intention, like the sculptural intention and functional and technical intention. So he united both of those influences and this is what made him actually. And my father was always saying about art, like we are not creating, we are just discovering. We are just seeing things that already exist and we are assembling things, and what we call creation is actually discoveries. Yeah. And somehow I think he just saw what was in front of him and assembled it and made something new with this, but this was not new. This was meant to be. I
love that.
Somehow. And also it was always making a very clear difference between art and design. He was always saying that an artist has to be a wolf. He has to obey to no rules. Mm-hmm. He's alone in front of everybody and is like presenting something that doesn't have to be nice, doesn't have to be accepted, doesn't have to be understood. A designer has to be a dog because he has to serve. He has to bring you like something like comfort, being nice, some functionalities actually. Yeah. And function is the dog and art is the wolf. Yeah. And so in his mind, at the time, you cannot pretend being a wolf when you're actually a dog. Yeah. So you're serving, you're improving life. But he was very proud of it. So he was not presenting him as an artist because he was thinking he was serving people, not like an artist shouldn't serve. Yeah. But now the world changed a lot. So I think we could be tempted to say that now a lot of artists are serving.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So maybe this is an old vision, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, I think that contradiction is very rare to have in one person's mind. Like if you just think of most businesses, the function side is usually always asking the artistic side to be more realistic.
Yeah.
And the artistic side's asking the function,
To
come
be
on,
more-
I'm sure we can build
No, of
this.
course.
From construction to tech businesses, whatever it is. There's always that push and pull. But every once in a while, you find the greats of our generations who have that internal dilemma of function and aesthetic or artwork within their own minds.
Yeah, for sure.
And somewhere in that gray and that nuance, you get this beauty.
I think my father was all about this duality in his own mind, because if you would have tell him you were an artist, he would have said, no, I'm an industrial designer.
Yeah.
And if you tell him like, oh, you're just a designer, you don't have to have an artist, I think he would have been like, oh, annoyed.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult position. Like, but yeah.
That's beautiful. I mean, since we started talking about the Dune, I'd love to introduce it to the audience, especially since we're a part of the installation today. How did the idea come about?
So the Dune, as the tapis-siège or as the déclive or as some other of the famous model we are now presenting for the first time, were originally designed for a company, an American company called Herman Miller.
Yeah.
It was Herman Miller used to have like still have, I think, a project called Action Office. So Action Office is a modular program that you can adapt to any kind of spaces for offices. So my father, in the late 60s, was in discussion with Herman Miller and told them, like, I want to adapt this Action Office program to the domestic market.
Mm-hmm.
So create a modular program that you can develop for any kind of environment and empty spaces. And it was also influenced by, kings from the Middle Age, like you are deploying in a castle, you are putting all your furniture, then you are putting everything back in the rug and going to the next. So it has to be very easy to move, to transform, and modular. So yeah, so he developed this whole program between 68 and 1970 and made the mock-up and present to Herman Miller in 72. And the project, because for many reasons, because it was a very expensive project to develop, because it was involving development of a lot of tools to produce the pieces and to make it at a price range that can fit the market. And also the oil crisis that was arriving in America and the world. And so the project had been rejected. And so it was the biggest disappointment in my father's career. So it stayed like mock-ups, drawings, plans, development, but no production. None of them were even prototyped.
Wow.
Were just like abandoned. And so
this was in the 70s?
This was like in 72, yeah.
72.
Finish. And then this project the mock-up of this project went to the Centre Pompidou, to the museum. Yeah. And my father passed in 2009. None of this project, he constantly tried to present some of the model from this program to different industrial people. And they all rejected it because it was like utopia project. Yeah. Like nobody wanted it. And so my father passed in 2009. And we, Paulin Paulin, started really in 2014 to start to develop the idea of producing some of those pieces. Originally just to showcase it. Like the intention was not a commercial intention. It was like really just to, I was excited to show those amazing design my father developed and nobody ever saw or ever tried. And it became organically a business, a family business, because people were interested. And Alice, my wife, and I, and my mother, we felt like, oh, there is like this good astral or universal alignment now. Maybe now it should exist. Mm. And it's always very exciting for me because a lot of people might think, oh, maybe Benjamin is the designer, and I'm always very happy with this. Not that I'm trying to pretend anything, but I like the fact that people think that it's now. Yeah. It's a design from today. Yeah. And it was like a design from 1968. Yeah. And so it's a very intemporal and very fair design to give this impression to people. So,
I mean, I would argue that the design doesn't even look like a design of today, but actually a design of tomorrow.
Exactly.
It looks so futuristic.
And it's funny because we made an exhibition recently in Seoul with Lee Jung-jae.
I don't.
Lee Jung-jae is this actor from Squid Game.
Oh yes,
like
of course.
the main
Okay.
actor of Squid Game.
Yeah.
It's a super funny guy, super nice guy.
Yeah.
And I met the guy, and we started to discuss the possibility of an exhibition because he was really into Paulin, into design and everything. And so he proposed us like, oh, you should use my building, like make an exhibition. I have this building in Gangnam, like make an exhibition there. Okay. And so because it was him, we thought, oh, we should find a fair angle that, because we always we could do many more exhibitions, but we always trying to do something that looks to make sense. We don't need just to be there like in a commercial way or something. It's not interesting for us. Yeah. So we are always trying to find a good way to present the Paulin legacy. And so with Jung-jae, we started to discuss, and then we thought like, oh, we should exhibition focusing on the appearances of Paulin furniture in the movies, series, in the pop culture. And then we made a selection of it, and we made like the exhibition. We made it the main subject of the exhibition, so it was like starring Pierre Paulin, curated by Lee Jung-jae, and then we realized something, that furniture of my father was used like in Star Trek or in James Bond or in all those series and movies from the 60s to represent the future. Sure. Yeah. And today in new movies like such as, I don't know, Iron Man or many others, it's still used to represent the future. Yeah. Which is crazy, is that there is no new future. And future today is like, can be like the chaos, like the Mad Max kind of chaos, or is like a minimalist version of the 70s future. Yeah. Like it's like, now it's all white, used to be like very psychedelic, now it's all white, but it's the same thing. Yeah. So there is no new future. And it's a very interesting thing to realize.
It is. In terms of the, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
In terms of the simplicity in all these future assumptions, there's always this, it's incredibly useful, but it looks useless, right? And all these like Star Trek type of things, you have like these plain walls that turn into something. And the Dune concept in this room is a bit of that, where you walk in and it looks like it was designed to be one piece of dunes, like in a desert. But after your explanation, I understood it's actually 3 modular pieces that you can move around like Lego blocks.
Yeah, 4 actually different pieces that you can combine and create any kind of landscapes, interior landscapes or outdoor landscapes actually.
What are the pieces?
So you have like the seat, the back seat, just this one.
This one? Okay.
You have the angle where you're sitting.
Okay.
You have the peak, like this one.
Fine.
And you have the flat one.
Fine.
So those 4 pieces can be combined, and then you have the table that can be placed anywhere inside of the design. And now here we are playing with some podiums to create different levels, but this is just and we also play with the tatamis that create a path in the room. And we made like some tatamis also for the walls and the ceilings to create this all over impression. But what is very interesting with the Dune, but also with tapis-siège, like tapis-siège is the 4 angles going up. It's
the
another
one that
piece,
you have,
but it's part
music.
of the same. Yeah, we have it. Yeah. It's part of the same program that was initially made for this American firm, but that we now are calling the Pierre Paulin program.
Fine.
Which was based on 2 metrics that we are following. And in a way, my father was thinking at this time that the future of furniture was disparition of the furniture. So you have to imagine the dunes or tapis-siège or the déclive as variation on how to articulate floors. So it's like there's no furniture, it's just articulated floors. So it's prototypes of articulation of the floors.
I love that. For the audience are not French speakers, tapis-siège means rug chair.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like a rug that becomes a chair. Yeah.
And downstairs you have one that you integrated music into.
So this is an evolution of the initial idea. Tapis-siège was initially created for this program we are talking about. And then in the early 80s, my father made a prototype of it. So I don't know, 10 years later, he made a prototype of it, but in a very rustic way because he didn't have the money to make it as it was initially thought about. And so he made this piece for our apartment in Paris. And I grew up on this piece that is now in a museum. And then in 85, 86, he was thinking to create a whole ensemble with an evolution of this concept of tapis siège that he called the Video Barnum. And the Video Barnum was a large space, like let's say 10 meter on 10 meter, with like 5 tapis sièges like the one we have in the other room, connected to each other, surrounded by sound systems and screens, and that would be sort of an experiential room. So, as you understood, Paulin is all about bringing the dream into the real life. And so we made also this project. We made it happen in Brancusi workshop at Centre Pompidou during the Olympics, thanks to Nike who helped us with this project. We made this installation integrating the sound. So the original idea of my father was the sound was surrounding the piece. And with Alice, when we developed this project, we realized that without altering the design, without changing the design, we were able to integrate the sound. So then we thought, oh, this is an improvement to this concept, but it doesn't change like the intention and the design. So we should try it. And so we did it, and we're very happy with the result because it really changed the appreciation of the sound, of the experience. It really changed everything. So we are very happy with this first prototypes we are doing. And this is a piece that we are now producing for a few clients that are interested in it. But, you know, the way we are developing our piece, we are not like, we don't have any retailers or resellers. We are just producing for people we know and that we know are interested in the pieces. So it's a very small market, but this is the way we are happy to do it. It's a real relation. All of our clients are somehow, it's more of a member club, I think, than a furniture brand.
It is, absolutely. I've never experienced anything like the tapis siège. The feeling of the music inside me is like, I feel like I'm hearing it through my body and not through my ears. It's like a crazy feeling.
What I love was the piece that it's like listening the music too loud without it being too loud, actually. So you can really be inside of the music. It's it's a very cool experience. And now we are thinking of many projects with this piece, and hopefully we will succeed very soon to make some installation with this concept.
I love that. In terms of the Dunes unarchiving in the 2010s, when you brought the design back to life and put it into the real world, it had an incredible significance in culture and got a lot of attention and desirability. And that's actually one of the first introductions I had to your father's work and also to your incredible works after your father's passing. And I've seen it in photos and works with people including Frank Ocean, Kim Kardashian, Justin Bieber, all very big fans, Travis Scott. And I wonder about, what is it about the design of the Dune in particular that you think resonates so deeply with these people, but in particular resonates with these people today?
Well, this is my analysis, but I think somehow the youth of my father, when he designed those pieces, connected with the youth like few generation after, and it was like sort of a inevitable possibility. And I think people like Frank, they were very artistic persons. Like they are very they have their own opinion. Like all those people that we are talking about, they have their own opinion. They are not like, what should we buy to look cool? Like they they see something and they have their own appreciation of it. So this is what happened with Frank, and it was, I think, very important in our connection with a new generation. To me, meeting Frank Ocean was an amazing. First of all, was an amazing meeting because we are really huge fans of like everybody. I mean, but it was very influential on the new generations. So it really it was more efficient that millions of books like to connect.
Yeah.
In a very deep way.
I love
And
that.
I think, it's funny because like when I was doing music before, and I mean, I quit school when I was like 15 years old to make rap music. So I was just doing rap for like almost 15 years.
Wow.
So and my father was not a big fan of rap music, but he was like very happy that I was doing something that was kind of successful. I mean, in France, and that I was like not referring at all to him or his opinion, or I was like totally
Free
into
spirit.
my world and not interested by his opinion. And somehow this relation became something in the world. Like I think like the universe twisted in a way that I like how rap music and design can be connected, and I don't feel like that I am the reason for that, but I feel very into this. Like it's to me it's like you would tell this to the 17 years old me, I wouldn't believe it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when did your passion kick in the design and furniture world personally?
When did I went into like so after my father passed, actually I was really deeply moved, and so it was I never was interested by my father's work during his lifetime.
Wow.
Never talked about it, never, because I was into music and I was not interested. Like I was a bit autistic in my world. I was not sharing like so. But I grew up in his world, so to me, I was very sensitive to his universe, to his aesthetic, and to his vision. But my father was a very nice person. He was not the kind of creative people that are only talking about them. So he was a very curious man. He was talking about science, about future, about history of the people in the world. Like, he was very interested by many things. He was not like focusing on him. He was never talking about him, actually. So this was very helpful also to develop as a kid, I think. And somehow after, so a few years after he passed, I went to an exhibition with Alice, and I felt in front of a prototype I grew up on called La Déclive, piece you have in the entrance, like the big red piece in the entrance, the modular piece with like the two vertebra.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really moved to see this piece because like I could smell I could remember the smell, remember the touch, remember spending like all weekends with the cats playing on it. And now it was a museum piece, so you cannot touch it. You can just look at it. And somehow I was very proud because it was in a museum, so it was celebrated as a art. But somehow I was also a bit sad because now, as it's a museum piece, it's a unique piece, so nobody will sit on it anymore, and it lost the function. And so, contrary to art, like the function is also important in design. Yeah. So if you cannot sit in it, like it's kind of you miss something.
Yeah.
So the same day I was invited to a dinner at Azedine Alaya. Azedine Alaya was a dear friend of my father and mother, and he was like a fashion designer, and unfortunately passed a few years ago. And so I was next to Azedine, and at the time I told you I was still a rapper, like officially. So I was not it was complicated for me to talk with him because I didn't have the subject of conversation or anything. I was a bit like this kind of guy, you know? and so I felt I should told him about this feeling I had in the museum. And I told him, and he told me, you know what, tell me how much money you want, and you will produce one piece for me. So there will be one out of the museum, so people will be able to experience it.
Okay.
So would you do it? And I say, yeah, I'll do it. And it just opened a door in my mind, and with Alice, with my mother, we discussed it, and we said, oh, we should do it. We should do it. And so
That was the sofa, the vertebrae sofa?
yeah, exactly. So we made the first prototype of it, based on the prototype from 1967, 66.
Wow.
And so we made it for him, and then it's still in the Azedine house in Paris, and so it was like the first piece we produced.
And did you use your father's supply chain, or did you have to start from scratch?
So yeah, we had to start from scratch, because we had, of course, we have the plan, we have the prototype, we have, and I was glad that I found back like a guy called Michel, who was like the collaborator of the assistant of my father, the technical assistant of my father, that is still very in good shape, and he helped us a lot on this.
Great.
And then he helped us on everything else to start this project. And so we really went into the archives, we really went into the intentions and everything, and so it really started like that.
Yeah.
So Azedine was sort of the first step, and then we made this piece for him, and I think thanks to his influence, we also been able to collaborate with the first show of Nicolas Ghesquière in Monaco. It was the 2014 cruise fashion show in Monaco. So we made like all the sofas for the setup of the show, like for it was actually the old setup of the show. And then we met Michael Burke, who was the CEO of Vuitton at the time.
Yeah.
And we told to Michael Burke, like, because at the time Michael Burke, like Louis Vuitton, they made this house, the Perriand house, that was from the drawings also. It was the first time it was produced. And so we told Michael, like, oh, you know, we also have this project that was never produced at the time. And he said, oh, okay, but we have to be ready in 6 months. And it was like really challenging. But with the help of Louis Vuitton, we made like the first prototypes and everything.
Yeah.
And it was just an exhibition. So they were the mécène for an exhibition. And so we made this first exhibition in Miami, and everybody wanted to buy everything. So it has been like sort of a signal that, oh, this is crazy, what's happening?
Wow.
Like those designs that were nobody wanted, that nobody was interested in, like suddenly is becoming something, an interest.
Yeah.
And so then we met Emmanuel Perrotin at the dinner of the show of Vuitton in Miami. And I was next to Emmanuel and told him like, oh, I want to make this show in Paris, and with Alice, we are thinking like we should do this. And he said, oh, it's a great idea to make a show in Paris, but you should do differently. Like, so he explained us a lot of things. He was also very kind to us, and he opened his gallery for us. So the first show we made, like in a gallery show, was Emmanuel Perrotin. Really opened his gallery for us.
Wow.
It was amazing.
In Paris.
And it was very nice, and all the relations have been like really bienveillante. It was very cool. And so then we made a show in New York also with him, and it really started like that, you know, kind of accidentally.
Yeah.
Like it was very organic, like for real. Nothing was planned. It really just happened like an avalanche, and you know, it was a great feeling.
I'm sure.
And it only be natural relation, natural connections, natural. It never been like nothing was forced, nothing was like difficult. Like it was just a good timing. Yeah, my father design had to wait like 50 years, but it was like finally the good timing.
In those exhibitions, were most of the designs that your father brought into reality that you reintroduced, or were they works that never left the drawings that you brought to life?
Mainly never left the drawings. All the modular program, like the Dunes, never left the drawings. And some of them were prototyped, or even more were produced for French palaces in the 60s, 70s, or 80s. But they never been like editions. So except in very rare occasion, you cannot find a vintage. There is no vintage. Sometimes it's amusing because, you know, unfortunately it's it's part of it. Like you have copies. Everybody's doing copies of everything now. You have fake pieces. And sometimes when I catch up a fake one, I send a message to the guy and say like, this is fake. Like you shouldn't have this piece. And sometimes they are replying
I see so
like,
many fakes.
oh yeah, it's we are fighting, but it's a complex fight because the laws are not the same in every country. So you have to fight in every country with different. So we are doing it, but it's complicated. I think it's part of the success, if I can say.
Yes.
And so sometimes I text the guys and DM them, and they are telling me, "Oh, it's a vintage one." Like, no, there's no vintage. Like, you didn't buy it in the vintage store.
No.
Like, there is no vintage.
Yeah.
Basically, the first one was produced in 2014.
Yeah.
So you're just lying. But as I said, like I don't want to be too. Sometimes I'm very pissed, like, and I'm starting to trash everybody on Instagram, but I need to stop that. I don't want to become Kanye West. Like, we know how it ends.
It's very true. It's very true. I mean, any creative listening to this will know that replicating something that you've already built is one process that comes with its own challenges. But taking something that you've drawn from the concepts and the designs to actually real life comes with a whole other set of challenges. And even more so, inheriting a design from someone else, could be a boss, could be a family member, and then taking that into reality, a design you didn't even work on yourself, is a whole different game.
Mm-hmm.
And it rarely looks like the concept because there's a whole load of challenges that come with turning idea into reality. It seems to me, like given the sketches I've seen, this has come pretty perfectly in touch with what your father's initial concepts were.
Because our project, contrary to many projects of this kind, if there's some, is that our goal was the integrity of the design, whatever the cost.
Yep.
So sometimes people are saying, oh, but it's very expensive, or I don't know. Trust me, it's like the price.
Yeah.
If you want to make it right.
Yeah.
Of course, we can, like when you're buying shitty copies from China, you will have kind of the look if you look very quick.
Yeah.
But you don't have it. You don't have anything like it.
Yeah.
But if for you it's the same, then you should buy the copy for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if it's okay for you to be cheap,
Yeah.
because like it's like having a fake Louis bag or something. It's, I mean, there is many other designer that are actually doing nice bags.
Yeah.
You should buy one of those bags if you cannot buy the Louis or the Hermes one.
Yeah.
Because it's okay if it can stay a dream, like for a moment, maybe one day you'll have it, but don't be too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How granular were your father's designs? Were material science and was coloring a part of the designs, or was it mostly just the shapes?
No, design was actually has to be, of course, he has his own vision, his colors and everything, but it was a very open discussion. Like if someone wants it to correspond to his own aesthetic, it has to correspond. It's made for the people. So, if you want to buy a Dune, then or another piece, like then we have to choose the color together. We have to make something that is not denaturing the design, but that is also in your mood. Like it has to be you, not only Pierre Paulin. It's you and Pierre Paulin. Like this is the concept. So of course, my father has his own palette, a lot of greens, a lot of beautiful greens, beautiful blue. Not when we started to work on my father's legacy, my father was seen as a pop designer from the 60s, 70s. My father never been a pop guy. Like he was not pop at all. I can tell you, it was like a really Swiss German
traditionalist,
like very traditional.
Yeah.
And it was not thinking of a revolution. Like design for him was not a revolution; it was evolution. So it was following the universal ideas and bringing the new techniques to make it evolve, to improve it, to make it better, to make it more useful. But it was never like to revolutionize anything. Like it has to be the same thing, better and better and better. Like for him, like the first man who invented design is the first man who seated on a rock. Then we just evolve with this possibilities, the technical possibilities, but Yeah.
With the furniture you have today, I find that there is also a moment that we find ourselves in now where a lot of people I study for my job and also just in general to see where society is shifting. There's a few people that I look at because they're usually a few years ahead of where I see people moving towards. And when I look at those people, I see that the living room in my eyes, for example, just to go back to the living room, growing up became more and more around the TV. The screens got bigger, the seats were added, and social gatherings for the first 20 years of my life were closer to TVs. And then people I'd admire, mentors or people I wanted to grow in some ways to emulate, they'd get smaller and smaller screens until they got rid of screens entirely.
This is my TV.
That's the TV.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't have TV, and we are using a projector in the room, in the main room, the studio, but more like as a decorative use than as we don't watch TV. But yeah, you're right. Everything was centered around the TV, and now what I love with if we continue to speak about the Dune or those central pieces, those big conversational room in the room, is that it's the discussion is back. Friends discussion. A lot of people are initially they want our piece to create a TV room, like a cinema room, and it ends with like a discussion room. And they don't even look at the TV, and they invite friends and they discuss. And and I'm very happy about it because this is the intention of my father. You know, my father was very influenced by Arabian way of life, like the majlis. Like it has to be a social moment, or the Japanese way of life. It has to be a moment around like the tea ceremony, around the it's a social moment. Like, so you have to, it has to be turned around the people, and design can really change the interaction between people. You can see how design can create like a distance or can bring people together. So yeah, what I love with the Dune is that some of my friends, they even told me like, I won't cite them because I won't say the name, but some of them told me, you know, I bought the house just to buy the Dune.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy about it because like they just wanted to have this situation when they can invite friends and discuss with friends.
Yeah. And sit in this pit.
Yeah. And I love it because like it's amazing to you know, the world changed a lot also since COVID because people were living in their jobs. They were living at work and the house was like a place where you don't stay a lot, go to restaurant, going to parties, but not in your house. And since COVID, everything changed. People were obsessed during months that, oh, it's so ugly in my house, I need to change everything. And so this is when people started to be interested again in their own in their own life, in their own time,
I mean, your home in particular is a great case study for this conversation, where you're not building your home around the works of art. You're actually building the art into your home, and you have this design experience with constraints. I think even a lot of the pieces you've spoken to me about, there was a lot of creativity and freedom when it comes to material, color, and interpretation by the person you're working with, or even with your own desires, but they often came with the limitations of your father's initial designs. And I think limitation is part of that initial beauty, as an understanding, and part of the beauty of design. How do you feel about working without any bounds and no limitations of a room versus, or of designs of your father's, versus having constraints that you have to kind of weave through?
I mean, I love constraints. Constraints is very important because it helps you to have to follow a direction. And I think, again, like we were talking about artists or designers, and I think an artist, you have no constraints sometimes. And when it comes to design, you have to respect so many things that you have a lot of constraints to follow. And I like to work, and I like to see the work we are doing as a contextualization. We are trying to stay totally into my father idea, but we don't have no limit actually, because I can connect it with music. I can create a music label. I can. It's a lifestyle. It's not just furniture. Like furniture is just like the beginning. It's just the position that makes me creative. And so, and also something that is very important for us is, we often, people are presenting design as an art piece or as a statement, but we don't feel like that. We feel that this is not a statement. This is a tool, a tool for you to make you something else. And so I think this is like the good idea is the idea that gives you other ideas. So this is what we want to do and keep it functional in this way. Like it has to be functional for artists. It has to be functional for creative minds and creative people. So so this is what we love with the possibilities of the designs.
I think so much of the beauty in design and in furniture is consequence-based, where people are forced to work around old structures.
Exactly.
Versus do everything from scratch. And when I see these homes that were built entirely from scratch, I'm not actually a huge fan of them, because usually it's one or two people or one or two architecture studios, and you don't have these contrarian opinions and beliefs that end up creating that beauty over a long period of time. And that's why some of my favorite homes would have like a historic structure where more modern ideas try to squeeze in.
Or some constraints, some very strong constraints. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have like very rich people, they can pay for any architect, they can pay for any kind of houses, and so then you have shitty houses, because actually it's very complex to decide of the constraints. Then you have to be super creative, you have to be a genius.
Yeah.
But if you just like if you take a good architect and you have good problems, then they will make something interesting. But it's very difficult to create something from zero, from scratch, without any constraints. And I think this is why my father went into design instead of being an artist, because constraints was the comfort, constraints was like the production, constraints was all of this. And when you have no constraints, you can lose yourself.
Absolutely.
Some artists, I think my father was afraid of maybe becoming crazy somehow, because when you have no limits, you're just facing like universe.
Yeah.
Wow. It's very complex. You can really be complicated to manage. So when you have like clear constraints, like physical constraints, then you have to follow them. It's something that helps you to be creative. So I think it's very important to have some constraints.
Did your love for music and your past life in rap bridge this gap and bridge these two worlds of music and furniture for your exhibition today?
No, for sure. It's for sure related, but I think somehow it was what I love is that rap music was to me sort of a university, because rap music in the 90s, mid 90s, late 90s was still about sampling, was still about like writing like lyrics and everything. So if you wanted to have interesting music, you needed to find interesting samples. So you needed to discover a lot of music in order just to find the samples. So on the way to robbing the music, you were discovering it. So it makes you like more educated. And same thing for the words, like on the way to rob few lines from a book, you had to read the book. So and at this moment of time, rap music was opening you to everything. It was an open door to all the knowledges. So I think somehow what I want to do with this exhibition and this project is kind of the same thing, is bringing this idea. So there is a lot of people that are interested in like furniture or architecture or art today, and a lot of musicians are getting interested in it, and people from very different generations, very different genre. And so somehow we are trying to bring together people that would not meet if not in a Paulin sofa. So it could be someone like Jean-Claude Vanier, who is like one of to me the best arranger and musician, French from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and still now, who did like so many beautiful albums, but could be someone I hope like Travis or people like that. So we want to create. We want to be the common friends for those amazing people, and hopefully create something out of the algorithmic evidence. Like maybe it won't be the most streamable project, but it has to be an interesting cultural moment, because I realized in my life that a lot of the best albums that are staying, I'm not talking about the most successful at the moment, but what stays, it's not always what was the most successful when it's dropped. So some creation it takes time for people to understand it. Like, we are talking about the Dune, so it took 50 years before it actually exists. So I like this idea, and this is common to everything, and so we have this idea in mind, and so everything we want to make out of this project is in the same mood.
Yeah, I mean, your passions and your desire to continue to create seems to me like giving to culture and enriching the culture of things you're passionate about, like design and like music, without any commercial intention, which I think is very rare today.
We have commercial intention. We need to exist. We need to live. We need
but
to.
For sustenance,
we are producing, but the
yeah.
difference, I would say, is that we don't have. A lot of people are starting companies today or starting commercial projects, and they want to be on top, which is okay. It's like it's very human to want to be the best, want to be the. But where does it end? So we could like make a way bigger company than what we have. We could make a lot more money out of it. But what's the point? Like our point, maybe we'll change one day, but our point today is trying to be happy with the project, trying to stay focused, stay interested, and stay passionate about it. Because to me, this is what is the most complicated, is to stay passionate about something. It's not doing it, just for the money, or just for the fame, or just for this, because then it's real life, what we are living is real life. It's not, we're not pretending, like we are really doing it. So it has to be something. It cannot be just,
Yeah. What do you think that allowing anyone in the world to add a Dune sofa to cart, like a Restoration Hardware sofa, would reduce your level of passion for the project?
No. I just think that we cannot actually, because we are not so much talking about it, but the way we are producing the pieces is very artisanal. It's not like a factory in China. It's not a factory in Poland. It's like a workshop in the south of France. This is where everything is done. And it's done by 5 to 9 people. Wow. And they make all of it. So, and those people are very careful, and they're making their best work. They're making their life around those pieces. And this is the only way we are doing it. We don't want to change it, because this way we can stay very focused on every detail. We have a discussion, like, on this piece, like there is this little thing we have to improve, or it's this kind of discussion. We are like a bakery, So, and if we change this thing, it's possible. Like, Hermes, they are doing it. Like, we're not in the mindset to pay someone to do it instead of us. Like, we like to do it. We want to do it. We're happy to do it. And this is what I said about being focused and being passionate about it. We want to stay in this position where we can stay passionate about it. We don't want to be out of this story because we are afraid of losing the interest and losing the passion. And the reason why we are, I think, doing it with this level of interest and that it creates some interest is because we are so connected. It's because this is not like another project. Like this is really something for us.
Yeah. You've bridged music with furniture today. Are there any other categories of life that you'd love to explore?
It will sound strange, but I like to be last minute on everything. Maybe because I'm afraid of being bored, but I don't want to take any decision because it happens. Like we can take like huge decision like in 1 minute with Alice because this is the way we are living, and we are very intense, and we know when we want to do something, we will make it happen. But we have no. I don't even know what I will do next month. Like I like to surprise myself.
Yeah.
And I like to keep this kind of relation with our project because this is also, the world is evolving so fast. Everything is changing so fast, and our luxury is not to be a big company. Yeah. So we can change everything in a minute if we want. Yeah. We can stay very connected to our emotions of the moment, and we don't have to plan like 2 years or 3 years in advance, like all the events, all the collections, colors, whatever. Like I never want to do that. Never. Like
I can see that in your works purely on where they're situated, the element of surprise, because I've seen your pieces in chateaus and palaces around very antique environments, and I think that was a lot of the initial placement of the pieces, as you were mentioning earlier. And then I've seen them in very art gallery looking homes that are very intricately lit and very plain. Then I've seen them as part of homes with families, and the pieces just fit in their own way so differently everywhere.
This is what I love about my father's design, because my father was really a designer. There is a lot of interior designer, and there is a big difference between architect design, interior designers, and designers.
Yeah.
So my father was part of the first generation of French designer. So it was like new because like industrial possibilities were new, like everything was new, but the idea of my father and this generation was that a chair that you would design should fit any kind of space. It's not made for a specific context. It's made for every context, which is the big difference when you go to, I don't know, Royer, or when you go to Poubelle, or those were architects or interiors. They were not designers. They were making furniture adapted to a precise space.
Yep.
It was not my father's case. So there's a big difference between those type of furniture, because my father furniture is made to be adapted to any kind of space. Yeah. It should fit any kind of space.
As a business owner and a designer and a creative, I observed that your personal life, your professional life, and your creative life are all beautifully intertwined. Your studio is your home. Your exhibitions are part of your home. Your home is a part of the exhibition. It's all in one. And that balance is rare to strike. I'd love to know more on a personal side with you. Was that a clear choice to choose to work with your wife so closely and for your kids to be such a deep part of everything? And what the thought process is behind that?
I mean, with my wife, like I was in the music, she was in the fashion. And when we had our first daughter, this project started. And this project is what solidified somehow our family and our life. Because, when you are with someone since a long time, and I was in the music, she was in fashion, at the end of the day, you have not a lot to say to each other because like everybody's in own problems and it's difficult to share. And so this project also have been something that bring us back somehow together in a more deeper way, in a more passionate way, because it's like another baby, like, and so then we had our 3 daughters, and it was like sort of an evidence, like I never really I don't think it could exist in a different way.
Mm.
I'm not office person. Like if not for this project, I would never have work. This way. I was doing music, so I don't like to follow rules, organization, this kind of thing. I like it to be very. It needs to keep me focused, and so I think the project really started to exist in a commercial way and in a business way during a bit before, but during COVID also. And so before COVID, Alice and I were thinking, oh, should we have a gallery space out of the house so we can bring people and we have like a more clean and like showroom. And we were not so excited about it. And then COVID happened and we said like, wow, it's a blessing that we didn't took a gallery space or something like that. And then we thought like, oh, it's the best option we have, like it's in our house. And also it makes sense because like furniture is made to live. Like when I see like showrooms, like shops, or I'm always a bit like it doesn't give me a lot of interest to see furniture in a commercial way. I like it to be used. I like it to be real, authentic, and so this is why we are happy like that, and we don't have any intention to do it in a different way. And I think if we start to open like boutique all around the world, we will win something, but we will lose something. Yeah. So, yeah. At the end, it just happened as an evidence, and we are happy with our life like that for the moment. Our daughters are very happy also, and when we are doing projects like this one, like exhibitions and musicians coming, like they are very excited, and I like them to assist to all of these changes and also to assist to the process. So when they because they have a lot of they love music, but when they are seeing artists like writings, trying, recording, producing, then they understand how you make things. Like they don't. When I was a kid, I was just fan of like a lot of musicians, but to me it was like you just see the package. You don't realize what is behind. Mm-hmm. And so I like them to see what is behind, mm-hmm. to meet the people, to understand. Like, I think it's a great experience. I hope like they will probably hate me one day, anyway. But
I doubt it. I doubt it.
But we'll see.
I love that. You became incredibly close to your father's work after his passing.
Yeah. I mean, I was close with his work before he passed, but not with him as a designer. Fine. In the sense that design was not even a subject between us. Yeah.
In hindsight, do you wish that you had gotten closer to your passion for this work when you could have spoken to your father about it? Or do you think that things happened in the best way they could have?
I think things happened in the best way because I would never have worked with my father. My father was a very hard worker. He was totally intolerant to any sort of mistake from other people or from himself. So it was like a very tough and hard worker. So I think I would never have been able to be around him working together. Mm-hmm. Not possible. So I think I only went into this because I was missing him. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't happen if he was alive. No, not possible.
And would you want your own kids to work with you in this space?
Honestly, I don't care. I want them to do whatever they want. But if some of them are interested, they can start by being interested by that, or start by something else and then join us or not. I don't want to be too definitive with anything. Like maybe we'll stop everything next year, like if we want. Yeah. So I don't want to nothing is settled. Like everything can change. So if they want, they're welcome. If they don't want, welcome. Yeah.
I'm curious to see how shared spaces in homes will develop in your kids' generation.
Yeah.
Because shared spaces have changed a ton in my lifetime, like we're discussing with the TV's importance and then reduction of importance because we're all on the phone, and then now the importance of intimacy and conversation.
I mean, this is something that is very worrying. Like of course, TV disappeared, but screens are everywhere, and it's very difficult to escape. Like I realized I spend most of my time looking at a screen. So I grew up without it as a kid because it was not existing. But now my daughters, they're born with it. So it's something at the same time you want to protect them from that, and at the same time you say like it's the world how it is now. So it's a very strange. I don't have a clear position about it because I don't want to be too against or for that. But I think it's important to keep interest to the physical world, and so design is part of the things that you cannot have on the screen. Like you need to. It's a physical experience that you cannot reinvent on a.
Yet.
Yes.
we'll always throw in the yet.
No.
Who knows? On the Gstaad Guy podcast, we always play a quick game of Fantastique versus à la Poubelle.
Okay.
And the things we celebrate and want to see more of in the world that surrounds us, in our industry, or in the society we find ourselves in, that we celebrate, we call it Fantastique. The things we'd like to change and see less of,
Poubelle.
À la Poubelle. One big à la Poubelle for me is the duplicates of the Paulin furniture.
À la poubelle.
À la Poubelle.
Directement. I have some very beautiful footages of images of destruction of copies. Like I wanted to post it, but I think
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think you should.
So then you can see what is inside. Like, and it's really
it's all like
shit.
Toxic foam.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'd love to know a couple of Fantastiques from your side and a couple of à la Poubelles, if you'd be so kind to share.
Oh, I have to invent it, or you will...
You can invent them.
Oh, some fantastic discussion, relation, sincerity, fantastic. Yeah, this is something we are missing. I think because the way the world is evolving, I think it's very difficult also for artists to have the time to make something valuable and to really research, to really because at the minute you have something interesting, you have something like that works, you will be super successful in a minute, and so you, and after that it's very complicated to evolve. Like once Louis Vuitton say like we have to make like the perfume, or once we have to make like this, like then how do you continue to be creative, to be an artist? So I think
what does sincerity mean to you?
Sincerity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Being true to your to some real values, not just like something nice to say to pretend you're a nice person, but being true. Like I think somehow we were talking about Kanye West. Somehow is sincere. Like it's horrible, but it's sincere. Like I think there's too many fake. Like we're talking about fake sofas, but fake people also. Like So this Poubelle.
Well, Benjamin, thank you so much for accepting to do this podcast.
Merci à toi.
Merci à toi. It's such an honor to be your first podcast host.
Yeah, wow.
It's
I don't
a huge
realize.
deal for me. It's amazing for me and for the audience, and very excited to see where you continue to grow and take your amazing projects.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Gstaad Guy podcast. If you're keen to learn more, please follow along by engaging with our social channels on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Merci beaucoup, à la prochaine, and a big hug from the Gstaad Guy.